China Global Television Network.
Israeli army fires into Lebanon after Hezbollah missile attack. Protesters in Hong Kong disrupt traffic near airport after a night of chaos. And Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Israel for state visit. Hello and welcome to Africa Live. As always, great to have you with us. I'm Richard Cyril Nsah, live in Nairobi. And for those of you joining us from across the continent and around the globe, we thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at other stories making headlines this hour. Ambulance boats saving lives on Lake Bunyonyi. And roadblocks in Addis Ababa to honor Car Free Day. Welcome to Africa Live. Once again, we start in Israel, where Israel's military says it has fired into southern Lebanon after Hezbollah fired a number of anti-tank missiles at an Israeli military base and army vehicles. Hezbollah says it destroyed an Israeli tank in northern Israel and killed and wounded the soldiers inside. Hezbollah's action comes a week after Israel launched drone attacks in the Lebanese capital Beirut, part of a string of Israeli airstrikes that also killed Hezbollah members in Syria and militia personnel in Iraq. Israel regularly violates Lebanese airspace, but its attack in Beirut was the first time it had broken a ceasefire that ended the 2006 war. The International Committee of the Red Cross says a Saudi-led airstrike kills scores of prisoners in the west of Yemen. A statement broadcast on Saudi television claimed the airstrikes had destroyed a site storing drones and missiles. But Red Cross officials who visited the site said the airstrikes had hit a detention center, killing at least 100 people. And they said bodies were still being pulled from the rubble in the prison in Damar. And now to Hong Kong, where protesters are trying to block all transport routes to the city's international airport. The airport express train is temporarily closed, and large numbers of air passengers have been unable to travel into the city. Hong Kong police say groups of protesters have been gathering around bus terminals since early this afternoon. Our reporter, Hei Weiwei, reports.
I'm now at Hong Kong Station. It's in the downtown area of Hong Kong. It's the starting point of the express heading to the Hong Kong International Airport. And here's the very latest. An hour ago, starting from 6:15 p.m. local time, the station, there has been an emergency announcement here on the station, repeatedly asking people to leave the station. And I asked the staff here, they say that they decided to close this station under concern that some protesters may come here to vandalize the station. And I came here, I have been here for the entire afternoon. That came after some protesters called online for a campaign to paralyze the traffic to the airport. Actually, right now, the situation at the other end of the road at the airport is quite different. The protesters gathered this morning at the terminal, and they vandalized the public facilities there, and they even threw some objects at the police, and they pointed laser beams at the staff, the terminal staff. And also at a metro station called Dongchong is the closest metro station to the airport. It's about 10 minutes drive away from the airport. This afternoon, a lot of protesters gathered there to vandalize the station. And this afternoon, I talked to some passengers here who were planning to take this expressway to the airport, but then got stranded.
I'm very worried, very worried. But my flight, I'm on a Cathay Pacific flight, and they've postponed the flight until 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. So maybe by that time the traffic is cleared up and we can get through. But I just have to try.
I think they should use less extreme methods. The airport is a public place used by people from all over the world. I think they should think of softer measures to express themselves.
Starting from 1:30 p.m. local time, the one direction of the expressway from the airport to the downtown is still open, but from the downtown to the airport has been closed. And at about 4:30 p.m. local time, the metro station announced to close the entire express routes because some protesters put iron sticks on the railway of the metro to obstruct the traffic. And I also asked the staff here, they say that so far they don't know when this expressway will be resumed.
7 unions from Hong Kong's civil aviation industry have issued a statement condemning the protesters' acts of blocking transport routes to the airport. The statement said it was extremely irresponsible and selfish of the protesters to coerce the government into agreeing with their political goals by paralyzing the airport, from which thousands of people depend on for their living. The statement went on to say that the protesters had severely damaged the reputation of Hong Kong International Airport, causing immeasurable economic losses to the facility. It called on airport authorities and the police to punish those who compromised the interest of the local residents. And Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed visited Israel Sunday, the third leg of his current round of official visits that includes South Korea and Japan. While in Israel, the Prime Minister will meet with Israel's Prime Minister and President, and he will tour the country's National Cyber Directorate. CGTN's Stephanie Fried is in Tel Aviv and brings us up to speed with this story.
Abiy Ahmed's visit to Israel was the first by an Ethiopian prime minister. But Ethiopia-Israel ties have been in place for decades. Prime Minister Ahmed's visit was meant to strengthen existing cooperation across a broad spectrum. Agriculture, tech, medical, and cyber sharing. The visit also emphasized growing the $300 million per year trade figure between the two countries.
We look forward to Israeli investors participating in key industries mentioned, as well as in the sector of telecom, aviation, logistics, and energy, which we have opened up for partial privatization.
The only way to take our people up is to open up our economies, to open up our societies, and let the natural enterprise embedded in both our peoples to burst forward.
Prime Minister Ahmed touched on a sensitive spot for Israel, offering condolences to the family of Ethiopian-Israeli teen Solomon Teka, who was shot and killed by an off-duty Israeli police officer this summer. The shooting death sparked widespread demonstrations among Israel's 2% Ethiopian population, who took to the streets, protesting what they say was a racially motivated killing and racism in general within Israel's society. Other points of cooperation between the two countries didn't come up in public, namely in the military sphere. That cooperation is a cause of concern for at least one neighboring country. Israeli media reports say the country installed air defense systems around Ethiopia's multi-billion-dollar Grand Renaissance Dam project, systems to protect the project that stands to block Nile Basin water from Egypt, a life-or-death prospect for the already water-poor country. Israel and Egypt and Israel and Ethiopia cooperate militarily. No side has confirmed reports of the air defense system. Stephanie Fried, CGTN, Tel Aviv.
Well, canoes are the main mode of transportation for residents of Uganda's Lake Bunyonyi. But when it comes to medical emergencies, residents rely on boat ambulances. The service is crucial for residents of the Lake's 7 islands. Well, CGTN's Hilary Ayasiga reports. Let's take a listen.
Seeking urgent medical attention, Gloria Kiarisima has just called in an ambulance. And within 10 minutes, it is at the dock.
Whenever these mothers come here for antenatal checkup, they normally write the number, my number, on their books. So as whenever they have contractions, they just call over the phone and we go to pick them.
The midwife examined her and prescribed treatment. She could now go back home.
I was unwell. I called in the boat ambulance and they came to pick me. They've treated me and I'm now feeling better.
In a period of 1 year, over 600 pregnant mothers have been able to access health care services using this boat ambulance. Health workers here say it is efficient and saves time. Most people here use canoes for transport. Hiring a boat is costly for some locals. On average, They pay about $6 to visit the health facility. To reduce the cost, Biona Magara, a community-led health initiative, donated this boat. They also provide fuel to pick up expectant mothers. Health workers here say the number of hospital deliveries has gone up.
Mothers we receive daily in the antenatal. We receive approximately 15 mothers for antenatal. Then for deliveries, monthly we receive an average of 15.
And because of the increasing demand for the service, health providers want more boats on the lake. With more of these initiatives starting up, it is hoped that more lives will be saved. Hilara Isiga, CGTN, Kabale, Western Uganda.
You are watching Africa Live on CGTN. We've got a lot more news coming your way after the break, including roads closed in Ethiopia's capital to mark Car-Free Day. And we take a look at a Samburu wedding celebration in northwestern Kenya.
How will your world change today? What happens here? What happens there? Or what you make happen for yourself? If it matters to you, it matters to us too. Your stories are the stories that need to be told. Africa Live. Find your voice.
Welcome back. Egypt is seeing the birth of a new water activity. Cyclists who enjoy their bike rides in the Egyptian capital no longer have to stop at the edge of the Nile. A group of young Egyptians have introduced devices that converts bicycles into water bikes. Our correspondent Adel El Maroui found out more about the entertaining ride.
Every Friday early in the morning, Me'ab and Ahmed go to a Nile shore to set up their gear. Inspired by an Italian invention that makes bicycles float on water, these young Egyptians have decided to try it at home. They are the first group in the country to introduce this kind of water bikes.
When I saw how the kit gets attached to regular bikes online, I loved the idea. To get clearance for this activity was our biggest challenge, because it is not listed as an activity that is recognized by the government. We kept working on it until we got recognition from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and we have clearances to use it in the Nile.
Depending mainly on social media for publicity, Nile bikes brought them a lot of people interested to try this new sport. Many, however, were reluctant to actually take these water bikes for a spin. But the demand they saw online made them realize they have a potential to start up a small business. This type of water bikes is suitable for everyone, even those who don't ride bicycles, which makes it a fun ride for whoever steps on for a simple Nile experience.
The idea combines both bicycles and kayak. I love both, so I told myself, why not? I've just finished my trial now. It's really fun and gives you a refreshing feeling. It's a great activity to end the week with and detach from the city noise.
A quick glimpse at the water bike. It appears to be easy. The balance is not an issue. It requires, however, a lot of physical fitness and stamina to get a long ride in the Nile.
I really enjoyed it. I got a bit tired because I rode it against the water stream. I can't compare it to regular bicycles because I don't ride bikes. It looks a bit scary at first, but once you're riding, you realize how easy it is.
It costs $6 to take the Nile bike for a 30-minute spin. The team tries to tour with it as many places as possible in the Egyptian capital to spread the concept among residents. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.
Let's head over to Ethiopia, where the country held a car-free day. Some roads in the capital, Addis Ababa, were blocked to motorists and open to walking residents or cyclists only. The day looks to promote healthy living and reducing air pollution. CGTN's Coletta Wanjohi has more.
Moving away from the stress of daily heavy traffic, residents in Addis Ababa blocked off some streets to enjoy a car-free day.
The initiative began in December 2018, and since then the city has managed to maintain it as a monthly event.
The primary motive is to promote healthy living.
We can decrease those non-communicable diseases by doing sport, okay? So Ethiopia must be develop the culture of doing sport minimum of once in monthly. Then we come to every week and daily and so on, okay?
Yafet Wonderson and his friends have a football team. On car-free days, they come to compete with other children.
We have 1 month a day, these car-free days, and we play football and cycling in each sports games, and we play football now. And me and my friends love exercise, and I love Africans are good players in football.
Zemi Yunus, who has an autistic son, Jojo, says the events have become therapeutic for him.
I come with my families, I come with Jojo, so this is a good therapy at the same time, you know, it's in an open air. Roads are closed, it's safe, and, you know, we join with other people. We share love, we share peace, we share, you know, so this is beautiful, and we want to enjoy it. That's why I'm here.
Others come for the mass workout sessions, which are led by professionals. The country's air quality is considered as moderate by experts, but the Ministry of Health says with the fast growth of cities, air pollution could increase to irreversible levels if not checked. According to the World Health Organization, air pollution alone caused some 4.2 million deaths in 2016 globally. Rwanda began the car-free day in 2016. Kenya suggested the idea but is yet to implement it. Not all Addis Ababa city residents have embraced the car-free day, but Ethiopia is determined to keep encouraging more to join every month, and with time, roll out the plan to other major cities in the country. Coletta Wanjohi, CGTN, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
And in South Africa, the Chinese Consulate General in Cape Town has been hosting an event to educate overseas students and teachers on consular protection. Various participants from universities and Confucius Institutes in the Western Cape attended the event. Attendees were able to learn how the China consulate can help protect their legal rights. The director of the Chinese Community Police Forum advised on how to safely live and study in South Africa. According to the Vice Consul General, teachers and students are a group of vulnerable Chinese nationals living abroad.
We think this is a very effective way to help them to learn what is China's consular protection service and what we can do and what we cannot do, and help them to improve the ability to prevent or deal with the risks.
Here in Kenya, among the nomadic Samburu community, weddings are colorful, elaborate ceremonies which start early and continue late into the day. Each rite has a special, profound meaning. CGTN's Wilkester Nyabo reports.
In Maralal, a little town in Kenya's Samburu County, dawn is a perfect time for a wedding. The weather is cool, and starting early means wedding guests will have more time to celebrate the occasion. Lamini is tying the knot with his longtime lover, Jane, in a traditional wedding ceremony. His friends are escorting him in a show of unity and strength. They're all dressed in their best clothes to impress the girl's family, but the groom and his best man will soon take off their shoes to demonstrate their ability to persevere even in times of hardship. The most important part of the day is the slaughter of the animal.
In church, the marriage is sealed with rings. Here, the slaughter of the animals seals the union.
Usually a bull is slaughtered, but today it's a sheep because Lamini and Jane have lived together already.
The couple has been together for 6 years already. They have 3 children, but they now want to get married officially.
The groom hands over the meat to his bride's family to initiate good relations. And finally, his bride is allowed to leave the house. Both sides celebrate the union with song and dance.
I'm happy because I am now officially a married man.
For the single men, this is a great opportunity. The best dancers have the best chance of attracting a partner. And if one is lucky, he might soon be going through the same process. Wilkis Anyabo, CGTN.
We've got your sports news coming up after the break. Here's a look at the headline. In sports, the 2019 African Games draw to a close in Morocco.
Africa, where champions are made, records are broken, legends are born. We're there for every goal, for every knockout, for every step of the way. Match Point, only on CGTN.
Africa Live. Find your voice.
Welcome back. The 2019 African Games came to a close on Saturday after 2 weeks of intense competition in Morocco. With the inclusion of key partners such as the Association of National Olympic Committee, the 12th edition marks a beginning of a revival mission of the continental showpiece. CGTN's Mohamed Abubakar reports.
Following the withdrawal of Equatorial Guinea in November 2017 as the initial hosts, Morocco was handed the hosting rights for the 2019 African Games. The 12th edition of the Games managed to mark a record number of more than 6,000 athletes competing in 26 sports disciplines.
Everyone is satisfied with the organization of the Games. And bearing in mind, we had a very short time to prepare. It was only 8 months. This has clearly shown that Africa is capable of hosting big sporting events, just like the African Games here in Rabat.
One of the major pulling factors at the Games this year has been the conducive environment for competition.
Morocco has very good facilities that you can't find in most African countries. So a lot of the African athletes were happy to come and compete, even though maybe they don't like the African Games, but they didn't mind coming to compete because they were sure that the events will be held in standards that are good, in facilities that are good and up to standards to probably even the Olympic standards.
Part of the strategy to revive the profile of the African Games has also been to make sure it attracts the best in the continent.
I know so many athletes from Kenya, from Morocco, from Ethiopia, they are not here. They are preparing for the World Championship or they are preparing for next Olympic Games. So I think that is the problem. So maybe if we reschedule these African Games after the Olympics, maybe it will be much, much better in performances and the organization and everything.
The next African Games will move to West Africa, with Ghana set to host the continental showpiece in 2023. And just like Morocco, it will be their first time as well.
Ghana will be the hosts for the 13th edition in 2023. And I'd like to think that we've already set the standards high. I'm very sure that the African Games will continue attracting the best on the continent. And in future, we'll see even better organized events than this one in Morocco.
With Egypt being the overall winners here at the Games, the hosts Morocco will hope they have managed to win the hearts of Africans, especially the manner in which they have organized the continent's premier multi-sport event. Mohamed Abubakar for CGTN, Rabat, Morocco.
Let's talk a bit of football. Kalidou Koulibaly's own goal capped a thriller in Turin as Juventus squeezed past Serie A title rivals Napoli 4-3 despite surrendering a 3-goal lead. Danilo opened the scoring with his first touch, sending Douglas Costa's pass into the net. Gonzalo Higuain then stunned his former employers with Juve's second in the 19th minute. Juve continued to dominate in Turin, but it was not until the 62nd minute that Cristiano Ronaldo made it 3-0. However, Napoli hit right back and slashed Juve's lead with a headed goal from Kostas Manolas and gave the Azzurris a goal for Irving Lozano. Hush descended in turn when fullback Giovanni Di Lorenzo got the key touch to level things up in dramatic fashion. And with time running out, the Bianconeri launched one last raid, and Senegalese defender Koulibaly managed to divert it into his own net.
I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that we almost lost the match. We played an excellent match for more than 1 hour, and we could have even capitalized more on that. Right now, fitness is still an issue, so you start having not so good reactions, and your focus is not at the top like in the first half. That situation made us concede goals that were avoidable, but it all ended well. This group is very tight, and when they face adversities, they stick together rather than throwing everything up in the air.
The match is very easy to explain. Very bad in the first hour, very well in the last half hour, and that's why we managed to fight back from 3-0 down. And one single mistake defeated us. And honestly, we deserve this defeat because we didn't play well for 1 hour.
And promoted Union Berlin stunned title contenders Borussia Dortmund 3-1 on Saturday to earn their first ever Bundesliga victory that left their opponents 3 points off the top. Marius Butler gave the host a shock lead in the 22nd minute, but their joy was short-lived with Dortmund forward Paco Alcácer stabbing in an equalizer 3 minutes later. Instead of turning the game around, however, as they had done in both their previous league games when they fell a goal behind, Dortmund conceded again. Sebastian Anderson then completed a fine passing move in the 75th to score their third. And to boxing now, Vasyl Lomachenko produced a battling display to beat Britain's Luke Campbell on points and add the WBC lightweight title to his WBA and WBO belts. Campbell was in trouble at the end of the 5th when he was caught by a crushing left hook and then a barrage of body headshots, but was saved by the bell. Campbell took more punishment in the 6th, but had success of his own later in that round and the next in a captivating contest. He was floored, though, in the 11th after a barrage of body shots and then a jab. But he got up to finish the fight, although 2 of the 3 judges did not give him a round, only a share of one. Lomachenko got the verdict 119-108, 119-108, and 118-108 at London's O2 Arena.
I was too close. But it's boxing. And I said before, for me it doesn't matter about result. It wasn't knockout, TKO, or no mask, or score. Doesn't matter. Win, just win.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Africa Live. Remember, you can send us your feedback to the contacts on the screen and follow us on digital media platforms. For the team, I'm Richard Searle saying thank you so much for watching, and we will be right back here, same time tomorrow. Till then, take care.